Welcome to the Shibboleth Lifestyle. My name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor. I found Shibboleth last year. I got on the scale one morning and I weighed 185.5 and I said, you are half a pound from your highest weight. You have got to do something. You have half a pound to turn this baby around. And I had seen, I know that diets don't work, so I've never been a dieter, but I had seen my friend posting about something fun she was doing on Facebook. And so I went to her Facebook page and scrolled through until I found the word. And then I called her and I said, please tell me about what you're doing. And she said, I have just lost 80 pounds in 6 months. And I said, whoa, tell me about this. And so she did, and it made sense. Just the initial conversation I had with her made sense. And then I am a scourer of a website. So I went to the website, I clicked on every link and every tab and every button. I read every document, I read every review. I mean, I just did it all. And so then I realized, wow, they have a store near me, so I might as well go to that and see what else I think about it. Well, it was on a Saturday morning, and I absolutely loved it. And a little 78-year-old lady, Patricia Hurt, a little red-headed, fiery lady, said, you need to sign up, and you need to get the gold membership, and you need to do this, that, and the other. And you know what? I appreciate people who have already been there before me and know exactly what I need to do. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I did everything that she said to do. So I signed up, and within a week, I signed up on a Saturday right before spring break. Well, I went on a family trip at the beginning and then a work trip at the end. Well, while I was gone on those 2 trips, I was watching all of Travis's original daily doses. If you're here for a refresh, you may have already watched all of those. But if you're not here for a refresh, after you've done fast track, we're going to want you to watch those. But I watched all of those daily doses, and then I came back from these trips, and I had it figured out. What I had figured out was that I have to eat foods in a way that control insulin, and really it is all about switching over some products I was using and just putting the right foods together. So I went to the grocery store on a Tuesday. I started on April 10th. In 5 months, I had lost 50 pounds, but that wasn't even my goal. My goal was to lose 35.5 pounds, and the Lord gave me a 50-pound weight loss in 5 months. I have been, next month in September, that will be 1 year that I've been maintaining that 50-pound weight loss. And I mean, it's just a dream. It really is just a dream come true. And I found a way to enjoy eating, still get to enjoy foods I liked before, but just in a more reasonable way, when before I wasn't doing it very reasonable. So anyway, just wanted to give y'all my little story with that. And hopefully that encourages you to just jump right in and do it. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go over a PowerPoint. Now, we do have another lesson tomorrow night, another live webinar tomorrow night, and it's all about food combining, okay? So, because that's kind of the biggie. Okay, so you are now in a lifestyle. This is not a diet. It is not a diet. You are in the Shibboleth lifestyle. The reason you need a lifestyle is so that you can do this for the rest of your life. Nobody is going to diet forever, but you do live a lifestyle forever. So you're going to live a lifestyle of wellness. We're going to get you through the weight loss mode into the wellness and maintenance mode, and that's where we want to be for the rest of our life, okay? But it does require us doing what we have to do to get where we want to be so that we can move forward. But you got to think of it as a lifestyle, all right? So welcome. We're glad you're here. I am truly, truly honored to be able to make this presentation to you. I actually have a master's degree in education from UAB, and when I realized that this is really just a lifestyle, that it's really just the education that many of us are missing, I just had to be a part of it. And my spiritual gift is evangelism, And so I like to tell people about good news, and this is good news. All right, so we're going to go ahead and look at this. Now, what we are going to do tonight, I find that it's very, very important to introduce you to the terminology that you are going to need in living this lifestyle, because you're going to be looking at the website. You're going to be looking at the Facebook groups if you're on Facebook. You're going to read the emails that you get. It's important to know the terms that we use. So it's kind of like learning a new language, but this is a simple, simple language. But I do like to introduce to you all of those, the basics, those terms. Hey, Wendy, I'm so glad you're loving Shibboleth. That is awesome. That is awesome. Good. So the basics are, there are two modes, weight loss mode or maintenance mode. There's three differences in my mind between those two modes. One is the number of holidays that you can use in a calendar month. The second one is the way you eat fruit. And the third one is your mindset. So by the time you get to maintenance, we need to have this down as a mindset that we're going to do this for the rest of our lives. Awesome. Hey, Trudy, I see you there. There are two types of days. We either have a perfect day or a holiday. Now, if you've ever tried any other programs before or anything like that, you may have heard the terminology cheat day. We do not call it a cheat day. The reason we do not call it a cheat day is cheating has a negative connotation to it, and a holiday is not a negative thing. So we do not call it a cheat day, all right? And I'll call you out if you call it a cheat day, because I don't want that to be in your mindset. I don't want you to think you're cheating. I want you to know that you're just having a holiday, okay, that you should be able to enjoy. Okay, now, I'm only going to talk about perfect days and holidays this week, but I do want you to know that as you move forward and as you learn more in this lifestyle, that there are different types of perfect days that you can have, okay? But right now, we're just focused on a regular, basic Shibboleth perfect day. And how many holidays are allowed in each mode? If you are in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Once you get to maintenance mode, you can have up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. And just to let you know, weight loss mode is not going to be the mode you are in for the rest of your life. Okay, weight loss is just while you are getting to your goal. Then once you get to your goal, you can do maintenance. You might be sitting here thinking, how in the world can I do 12 holidays and still maintain my weight loss? Well, here's how. One, a lot of those holidays aren't, they're not hog trough. This is Harvey the hog trough. They're not all hog trough days, okay? So, but your other days, they need to be truly perfect days. And if they are truly perfect days, even if you have 12 holidays in maintenance, you will be able to maintain that weight loss, all right? So just keep that in mind. But what we talk about this week is going to be 6 holidays. And most of the time, if you've watched the little show that I do on Monday through Friday morning on the Shibboleth public page on Facebook, I always just talk about everybody having 6 days, okay? So those of you that are in maintenance, you just know that you could do 12. But I always talk about 6 because if you're in weight loss, I don't want to be talking about more than that, okay? But up to 6 holidays in a month, all right? How do you have a perfect day? Well, in order to have a perfect day, you follow the Shibboleth Shield. Now, the Shibboleth Shield is your bulletproof shield. A bulletproof shield will protect you if you use it, okay? After 2 perfect days, you get into what we call EFB, efficient fat burning. And I want you to know that that is the secret to losing the appropriate weight. Now, when I say the appropriate weight, what that means is that you're able to burn fat, which is stored energy. See, all fat is it's stored energy. See, calories are a unit of energy. and we have just overeaten by X number of calories. I had overeaten by 175,000 calories, and I needed to, and they did not get burned off. So they got stored as energy. And once I figured out this system, I burned them all off, okay? Because I wasn't giving my body easily accessible sources of energy, and my body was having to access stored energy. And that's what we want to do, because that stored energy is fat. That's what we want to do, is get rid of that. So after 2 perfect days, which we're going to talk about what that is, your body is then in EFB. You want to string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. And then, planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. After that, you just need to know, don't throw your hands up in the air or anything and say, I quit, or anything like that. You just get right back to your perfect days, because holidays are part of the program. If you go over 6 days of holidays in a month, on that 7th day, we do call that a blow it day, and you need to call a mentor for a May day, all right, because they're going to help you. But just never let yourself go over those 6 holidays in a calendar month when you're in weight loss, so that you can really achieve your goals. So in order to have a perfect day, you've got to drink your water, you've got to journal, you've got to eat the right combinations of food, you've got to portion your food out, and have the right timing. This timing one is for optimization. 1 through 4 you do have to hit to say you've had a perfect day, but 5 is for optimization. So we're going to have a look at each one of those. If you have questions while we are talking, please make sure that you ask them, because I will get on a roll and just keep right on talking. But if you have a question, ask. I'll get back over there to it. Hey, Trudy, I see you there. I see that you've got your chat set to all panelists and attendees. So if you have a question, make sure you set that to all panelists. Make sure you set it to all panelists and attendees. Kathy, you too. Okay. And Angela. All right. Okay. Let's look over here. Component number 1 of the Shibboleth Shield is to drink your water. You need to get in half a gallon of water every single day as the minimum amount. We would like for you to be shooting for a gallon, okay? Working on that gallon. And 4 of these water bottles makes up your minimum. 8 of these would be a gallon, okay? I do know that your mind and your body tend to be more satisfied when you are working towards that gallon. You do think a lot less about food when you're working towards that gallon. So water, oh, by the way, you are now citizens of planet Shibboleth. And on planet Shibboleth, water is a macronutrient to us. It's one of the most important macronutrients, and it's a 0-calorie macronutrient, okay? So it's very important to have our water. That is 64 ounces up to 128 ounces. Look at point number 3 right here. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste, and we need our bodies to do both of those things. Our bodies must give up fat and waste efficiently for us to lose weight, okay? And a dehydrated body won't do that, so that's why we got to hydrate. Component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is to journal your foods. There are no idle bites on planet Shibboleth. If it goes in your mouth, you write it down in your journal. Now, I've talked to people, they say, I don't want to write it down. Well, it really doesn't take that long to write it down. And if you have set in your profile that you want these to autofill, it will quickly autofill for you if you type in the same type thing that you're eating. That's kind of a neat little way to do that. Or some people just take pictures and put them in there. So however you do it, you need to journal. But what journaling does for you is it helps you to live a very aware life, much more aware of what you are doing. This to me is very important in the behavior modification part of what I needed to correct. So I think it's really important. If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. And if you hog it, you log it. All right? So whatever you do, write it down. Now, I like for everybody that I train to journal their day the very first thing in the morning. Go ahead and set your day to a perfect day, or if you know it's going to be a holiday, set it to that holiday. And when I say you know it's going to be a holiday, that means that you've thought through your holidays and you're either on vacation or a birthday or an anniversary or you have another special thing going on at work. Otherwise, they really should be perfect days. But if you have a perfect day and mid-afternoon, you change that over to a holiday, you've got to go back and change your journal. And guess what happens? Sometimes the fact that you would need to go back and change that will change your mind. And you don't want to have that holiday because you don't want to have to go back and change your journal. So this helps with behavior modification. So please journal your day very first thing. It's almost like you are declaring your day and you are going to be resolute in doing and meeting your declaration. Component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield is combinations. We're going to eat properly combined meals. Properly combined meals keep away what we call the fat bus. The fat bus is insulin. It's a hormone. And we're going to talk about what the fat bus does in just a minute. And I don't want you to think of that as any type of derogatory term or anything like that, because it's not a derogatory term. But we try to put things in a way that are memorable and so that when you are eating, you can think about what's happening in your body. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But component number 3 of the shield, combinations, I want you to know this is secret alert right here. The secret of big time weight loss is controlling insulin. And that's what this is right here. I also want you to know that we call this combinations because we're going to eat foods in a way that control insulin. But I want you to know that you can pull food from easy combining of just cooking things on the stove or in the oven or combining the right things to make a sandwich. You can also make recipes. You can also use our restaurant guide. And you can use meal replacements. There's all kinds of fabulous meal replacements and things like that. So the food that you eat can come from all of those different areas, but whatever it is that you're going to do, you want to eat in a way that controls insulin. Okay, and we'll hit all of that. Component number 4 of the Shibboleth Shield is portions. We're going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the two-hand rule. So even if you do not have a smaller plate, or we sell the portion control plates in the Shibboleth store, either online or in the store, actual store, if you're not using a smaller plate, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you use the two-hand rule. The two-hand rule trumps the size of your plate no matter what. So let's say you go to a restaurant and they're serving you the food on a huge plate. You still want to use the two-hand rule. The two-hand rule is simply this. You move your thumbs out of the way, like lay them down on the palms of your hands. You put your hands together as closely as possible. There's no space between my hands. I lay them down over my food. And then I see if there's any food hanging out around my hands. If there's not, then I have properly portioned. If there is, I just pull that off and put it into the container for my next meal. So you just want to eat properly portioned meals. Now, I'm going to tell you some things tonight that I'm going to ask you about tomorrow night. So if you are taking notes, feel free to write these things down because I like fast fingers tomorrow night when I start asking all the questions. I want you to know that when people think about losing weight, they often think, very first thing, I need to eat less food. Well, that is important, okay? That is important. But it's not the number one way. The number one way to losing weight is insulin control. But the portion control is also important. And when you put both of them together, it really, really works. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. If you overeat by 3,500 calories, you will gain a pound. If you are in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories, you will lose a pound. Okay, so what is important about the insulin control is that while we're trying to lose pounds, we don't want to be fighting gaining pounds at the same time. So we got to portion control. And now, I mean, we got to control insulin and portion control at the same time. They work together. They work together. Okay. Bethany asks, is it okay to add a calorie-free, sugar-free water packet to your water? It is, Bethany. Bethany, I would not do it for all of my waters. What I typically do for myself is I always get 4 clean ones in first, and then I will do one of the other and then keep working towards my other. So it's okay, but clean, clear water is really, really best. But you can add those. I just wouldn't do it in all of them. Okay, so that is number 4. So as I mentioned earlier, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is water. Now y'all can do that tomorrow. Okay, so if you're just getting started on this, as this is the first time you have listened to anything Shibboleth, you can start your water tomorrow. Journaling, you can start that tomorrow. Eating foods in a way that control insulin, it's not really that hard. So I really think y'all can start that tomorrow. That's the one that you will continue to find new things that you like to eat the longer you live in this lifestyle. And portion control, you can start that tomorrow. See, none of these things require a mind preparation or anything. You just do it and you start it tomorrow. Okay, don't wait or anything like that. Let's see, Facebook, Angela. Yeah, Angela, let's do it. Let's do it, Angela. I was on Facebook. Angela's on Facebook. All right. Component number 5 of the Shibboleth Shield is timing. Now, this is for optimization. Now, we're going to tell you the optimized way to do this, but what's the reason that we have to just give this one as an optimization is that everybody works different schedules. They wake up at different times. They have different things going on with kids and all kinds of stuff. So you want to make sure that you optimize this. What I'm going to tell you is the optimal way to do these things, and then you have to make those decisions on your own. If by some chance you don't hit the timing just right, it does not throw you off of having a perfect day if you did component 1 through 4 properly, okay? Let's see. Tracy, in journaling, I don't find the one on the website very user-friendly. Can we use another platform such as Lose It? I don't know what Lose It is. Tracy, I would love to show you how the journal on our website is user-friendly. I would love to show you that. I absolutely love it. So maybe I can show that, okay? Are you using that on your phone, Tracy, or on the computer? Deanne is asking, do you need to weigh and measure food such as 3 ounces of chicken or 1 cup of green beans? Well, Deanne, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. I have never weighed anything, measured anything, or counted anything in the entire time I've been in Shibboleth. I literally use my hands as the portion control and measuring. Okay, Tracy, I prefer on my, I have the website journal on my phone and on my computer. I don't know if you have the old view up or the new view up. I like the old view, so maybe that has to do that. Well, we don't scan barcodes. Okay, so Tracy, here's the thing. If you journal on our website and you need a journal review, we can journal review for you. Okay, we can help you by journal reviewing that for you. Now, if you don't want to use ours and you can journal on another app. It's totally fine. It's just that we wouldn't be able to review that for you. So it helps us if you do that. But Tracy, for sure, you have got to go in and write what type of day you're having in ours, because that's super easy. I think all of it's super easy. But that part is super easy, and that's what makes your icons in your timing chart, and that is super important to be able to create your icons in your timing chart. So you for sure want to do that part, okay, Tracy? Otherwise, what I would do if you don't like typing that part is take a picture and just upload the picture. You don't have to type anything if you're using the mobile-friendly website. You could just put the picture in. But We can talk about that. I totally don't mind, Tracy, doing a class on that, maybe on Tuesday night, and I can do that for everybody. Okay, I hope that helps. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Because I want you, Tracy, to get the most out of what Shibboleth has to offer you. And all of the tools that we've set up have been set up, for a reason. So I just want to make sure you do that. Melanie, the app does sync to the website. Now, when you're using the app, you do have to type in what you ate, although I press the audio button and I just talk it in. So it's really easy that way. If you use the mobile-friendly website, I have found that it's a shortcut, I know, because I should type it in, but I can just put a picture in there with the mobile-friendly website too. But it definitely syncs, Melanie. Okay, so for timing purposes, you can do up to 3 meals a day, all right? And what you want to do is you want to space those out 4 to 6 hours apart. So if you're a breakfast eater, when you wake up and then you eat breakfast, you could eat within an hour or two of waking, all right? But then have your next meal 4 to 6 hours later, and then have your next meal 4 to 6 hours later. That's 3 meals. Doesn't that sound reasonable that you eat 3 meals a day? I mean, none of us are going to starve eating 3 meals a day because what we get to eat is really good food. Now, I do understand, though, that sometimes people get a little extra hungry in the beginning because you're changing your way that you're eating. But if that happens, what you want to do is you want to utilize some of these other options. We do call this having a moment of mental weakness because we could power through, use our self-discipline muscle, drink some water, which is 0 calorie, and make it to the next meal. But if you're having a moment of mental weakness, you can utilize things called freebies, an extra, or a snack. Now, let's talk about this. How many calories did I just say were in a pound of fat? Yeah, Kim, okay, let me write this down about Tuesday night. I will do a class. Good. Y'all are listening. Awesome. Okay. I will do a class on Tuesday night. It will be in the new member fast track group. So if you have not requested to be a part of the Shibboleth new member fast track group on Facebook, you're going to want to be in there. So it will be in there. By the way, there will be a video this week, a short video this week, me showing you how to use parts of the website. That's going to come out in the Shibboleth new member fast track group every single morning, starting tomorrow morning through Saturday morning. And if you watch those videos are my attempt to help shorten your learning curve on that. But I will specifically do one on journaling on Tuesday night so that you guys can be on there and ask questions, because those little videos are pre-recorded. All right, and then Kathy. Yeah, Kathy, this slideshow is going to be in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, posted right after this this lesson. It'll be in there. Yep. Okay, so you want to have your food 4 to 6 hours apart. Kim, those videos, I mean, the morning posts always come out before 6 a.m. They always come out before 6 a.m. So if you are an early bird, you can watch them and get the little assignment done. Say, I'm a former teacher and school principal. I might give you some homework. And so if you do the little assignment and watch that little video each morning, this is going to help you learn the program. Yep, you're welcome. They always come out before 6. That way, if you are an early bird and like to get started, you can, but they'll be there for you no matter what time you're able to do it during each day. All right, so let's think about this though. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stop grazing. Grazing is a problem. We are damaging our metabolism and our digestive system by constantly grazing. And if we're using this timing component of the shield and spacing our food out, we are giving our body the opportunity to break down and start the digestive process on the foods that we are eating prior to putting more food in. So that is one of the things that we're trying to stop doing is grazing. So think about this. If you eat 3 meals a day and you have unlimited freebies, because they really are unlimited, okay? Unlimited freebies and an extra and a snack, do you know what that looks like? Grazing. So I just want you to know that there are good, better, and best in everything that you do. And not every single day that you have will look exactly the same. But as long as you haven't gone over the most that you can do, you still have had a perfect day. So maybe you have a day where you have 3 meals and that's it. But maybe you have a day where you have 3 meals and then some freebies. Maybe you have a day that you just, for some reason, feel like you need extra, then you have 3 meals, freebies, an extra, and a snack. That's not quite as good as those other options, but guess what? It still is. It's still a perfect day, all right? Because if you even did all of those things, none of the things that you used, as long as you used approved things in each one of those categories, none of those things are going to bring you out of efficient fat burning. And that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to come out of efficient fat burning. Now, they may slow you down just a little bit because of calories, but you're not going to have 2 perfect days before you get back into efficient fat burning. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm just telling you all the options that you have, but you can kind of understand how some days may be the best. Some may be good, and some may be you just made it as a perfect day. But you have all of those options that you can use. All right. So let's also think about this too. With that 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, let's say that you eat so many freebies because see, freebies, the reason they're called freebies is because they hardly add up to anything, and the digestive process that it takes to break those down kind of is equal to the amount of calories that were there. So it really is a wash in what you ate. So let's just say you ate so many freebies that it added up to 30 calories. Then let's say that you had an extra, and they're typically 50 to 100 calories. So I'm just going to say 70. And then let's say you had a snack. None of our snacks are more than 200. All of that adds up to 300 calories. Okay. Well, let's divide 300 into 3,500. That's 11.67. So if you are doing that every single day, you're slowing yourself down by 11.67 days and losing 1 pound of fat. So you just got to do what works best for you. I personally think let's just get this weight off. And then while I'm in maintenance, when I was in weight loss, I did 3 meals a day. That was it. But now that I'm in maintenance, I do 3 meals, an extra, and a snack each day. And it works fine. I'm maintaining this now for a year. So, but that's what I do. So anyway, but you can utilize what you need to, and all of those days are best. So, all of those days are options. You just have to do which one works for you on that particular day. All right. Whatever you do, don't come out of EFB unless you are having a holiday, planned holiday. Okay. Now we're going to go back to component number 3. Component number 3 is combinations. How do I put together a properly combined meal? What's important in learning this is just some terminology and how these foods respond in your body. I want you to imagine that you are doing a science fair project. And we're going to learn all about, in your science fair project, we're going to learn about how foods combine in your body so that you can win the science fair with your own body by putting the right things in there, okay? But you kind of had to learn what worked, right? You got to learn what works. So that's what we're going to go over right now. When you're looking at our combination chart, you're going to see some numbers on there, and you're going to see some abbreviations, some letters. So that's what we're going to learn right now, what those are. So you've got to know that there are 7 categories of food, just 7. And the reason that each one of these foods falls into the category that it does is because it responds in your body a certain way, So whenever you see the number 1 or the abbreviation LP, that's a lean protein. Chicken breast, 96% lean ground meat, egg whites, things like that. When you see the number 2 or the letters FC, that's a fibrous carb. That's where you find your broccoli, your green beans, cauliflower, things like that. But I also want you to know that this is where we've got a lot of breads. And that's a hallelujah moment for most people. And on Planet Shibboleth, we do not exclude any macronutrients. We just teach you which ones are the best to use and which you should put together, okay? Category 3, or an EC, is an energy carb. This is where most of your light colored beans are. This is where all of your peas are and all your potatoes are. Those bring a little bit more of an insulin release. The number 4, or a PF, is protein plus fat. This is a great protein source. It just has extra natural fats in it. Category 5, or FR, is fruit, but it's also known as an AC, antioxidant carb. See, fruits are good for you. They have beautiful colors. They've got that healthy skin most of the time. And there's a lot of antioxidants in those and a lot of good phytonutrients. And antioxidants are good because they will pick up free radicals in your body, and free radicals damage your cells. But now I want you to know fruit does need to be eaten differently while you're in weight loss mode. We're going to talk about more of that a little bit tonight, but more tomorrow as well, okay? Number 6, or SF, is superfood. And then 7, or SHF, is shellfish. Shellfish. And look right here in parentheses, which is really just a lean protein, Now, what that means is, and I'm going to ask you this tomorrow night, okay? I want you to know, when you see lean protein up here, number 1, lean protein, 7 is also a lean protein. The reason that it was pulled off of this category is due to biblical reasons and medical reasons. Some people do not want to eat shellfish. I also want you to know that it doesn't have to have a shell to be in this category. So for example, octopus, if you wanted to eat some octopus, that would be in the shellfish category, but it doesn't have a shell. So I always say, if it swims funny and lives in water, then it's a shellfish. But all of your regular fish is in the number 1 category, okay? But 1 and 7, so kind of look at it like this. The bookends of this, the lean protein and the shellfish, is really interchangeable because they're both lean proteins. Okay, so this is important, y'all need to write this down. There are 5 that you can eat without combining them at all. So you could eat them by themselves if you needed to or wanted to. So number 1, lean protein. Number 2, fibrous carb. Number 4, protein plus fat. Number 6, seafood. And number 7, shellfish. They can all be eaten alone. So the 2 that we skipped were energy carbs and fruit, because they bring more of an insulin release, and so you don't want to eat those by themselves, all right? Now, what I've trained my mind to do is I've got certain ones that go ding, ding, ding. I must be combining these properly. And for sure, that is an energy carb and fruit. They have to be combined properly in a way that you have to add things to theirs. But then I also have number 4, which is protein plus fat. That's also a ding, ding, ding to me. But you have to think about that and what you don't put with those. Okay, so we're going to hit that real quick. So category 3, energy carb. If I ever think, okay, I want to eat some lima beans. If I want to eat some lima beans, my brain knows that that's a category 3. and that it has to be combined properly, and it just goes ding, ding, ding. What am I putting with that to neutralize the insulin release that is going to come from those lima beans? So first of all, the amount of lima beans that you would eat would be about 1/4 of a cup. I use that just to give you a guideline, but honestly, I really not measured them out. I still use my hands. So if I have my hands like this, if y'all are watching on a phone, I don't know if you can see me, but let's say that I put my lima beans about where my fingers are. Okay, that's where my lima beans would be. That's that simple. That's about how much lima beans I would have, okay? But you have to combine a category 3 with a category 1 or 7, because they're the same thing. So I'm just going to say lean protein. You have to combine it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So number 3, all energy carbs must be combined with a 1 and a 2, a 1 and a 2, or a 7 and a 2. So what that might look like is, let's say those lima beans are about right here on my plate. Maybe I choose green beans as my fibrous carb, and then I've got my chicken breast right here as my protein source. I put my hands together, I put my hands down over the food if I can't see the food, and you really don't want it to be thicker than the thickest part of your hand, and you have properly portioned your meal, and it's going to work beautifully. It's going to remain an ESB. Now, I want you to know what is happening when you eat this food. I feel like this is one of those things that can help you daily go, I don't really want to have that happening in my body. Okay, so you're going to eat those lima beans. And actually, anytime we take some food in, a little bit of an insulin release comes out, but depending on what kind of food it is, it may require more of an insulin release to regulate that blood sugar. So energy, carbs, and fruit require more of an insulin release to regulate the blood sugar. So when you eat those lima beans, a little bit more of an insulin is going to come out because it's going to want to regulate that blood sugar. But let me ask you a question. At about 1/4 of a cup of lima beans, did you overeat them? Did you overeat them? You cannot, Deanne. You cannot have number 4 with lima beans. No. So at about 1/4 of a cup, did y'all overeat lima beans? Awesome. Yep. You did not overeat lima beans at 1/4 of a cup. Thank you. Thank you, Deanne. Thank you, Trudy. So it released a little bit more insulin, but it didn't have to release lots of insulin because you didn't overeat them. All right. But you also knew at this point, I've got to pair this with a lean protein source and a fibrous carb. So when you pair that all together, the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carbs are going to help neutralize the little bit of insulin that did come out because of the lima beans. All right, that is scientific and absolutely amazing because we can have really great food, lots of different flavors on our plate, and we can neutralize that insulin very, very quickly. This is scientific. I hope that y'all are sitting there right now going, wow, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing, because it is. Okay, now let's look at fruit, because in weight loss, remember how I said there's 3 differences between weight loss and maintenance? 1 was the number of holidays that you have in a month. 2 is how you eat fruit. So let's talk about that, all right? In weight loss, you must combine fruit properly. So if you want to eat some fruit, you must eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's take a look at what that might look like. Let's say that you want to have some berries for breakfast. By the way, berries are the best for weight loss. They are the lowest glycemic fruit. So let's say that you want to eat some berries, and you actually can go up about 1/2 cup of berries if you really want to measure them out and do that. But let's say that you know you've got to put it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Maybe you make yourself an egg white, which would be your lean protein, spinach, which would be your fibrous carb, omelet. An egg white spinach omelet with some berries, a beautiful breakfast. And you've combined it properly. So a little bit of an insulin release is going to come out because of the fruit, but the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach are going to help neutralize that, and you've got a great meal. Okay, let's see. Question from Bethany. If you are combining category 1 and 2, can you have more than 1 lean protein or more than 1 fibrous carb on your plate as long as it is portion controlled? Yes, yes you can. Yep. So Bethany, what that might look like is, let's say that you want surf and turf. Maybe you want that's not a bad example. Maybe you want some shrimp and some chicken on your plate. You can, you're just not going to have more than your lean protein source than you can fit under one hand. Let's say that you want 2 fibrous carbs. You can maybe put some green beans here and some asparagus here or whatever you decided. You just want a portion control. So yes, you can. That's a great question. That comes up a lot, Bethany, when people are making sandwiches and wraps and things. So if you're using a category 2 bread or a category 2 wrap, and then you also put some spinach in there or some lettuce, and maybe you also eat some bell peppers with that as a side item, and then you have some lean protein in there. There was 1, 2, 3 fibrous carbs in that. So you can do that. Yes. Yes, awesome, good. Okay, so let's continue looking at that fruit example for just a second. So one of the things that's really popular right now is to take a Greek plain yogurt and throw some berries in there. Well, the Greek plain yogurt is the low-fat Greek plain yogurt is a category 1 lean protein. Well, the fruit's a category 5. Well, you got to have it with a 1 and a 2. Hemp flakes or hemp powder can be mixed into that yogurt. And we're going to talk more about hemp stuff tomorrow night. We don't hit that much tonight, okay? But that's a category 1 and 2. That would provide you your 1, 2, and your 5. Well, let's talk about having a picnic or a cookout, and you're at your house and you're going to have a picnic or a cookout, and you still want to have a perfect day, but you want to have your friends over, and y'all are going to have watermelon, y'all are going to have hamburgers, okay? So you know, I want some watermelon. I'm going to have that watermelon as my dessert. You're going to want to have a lean protein, 96% lean protein hamburger patty, or if you're having hot dogs, a 97% Hebrew National hot dog, okay? You could then put green beans next to it or whatever you wanted to, or you could even do a category 2 fibrous carb bun. I mean, that totally does not look like a weight loss plate, but if you choose the right items, you know, like the Lewis Healthy Life hot dog buns or hamburger buns, those are category 2 buns. So you could do that. I don't do buns. I never have done buns. I just feel like they're a waste of my stomach space and calories. But if you wanted that, you could do that. So just think about all those different options. As long as it's paired properly, you can eat that way. So Karen is asking, can you eat a 3 and 4 together? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Karen. And guess what, Karen? That's my next example. Okay, so number 3 and number 5 in my head go ding, ding, ding. Those must be properly combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. But remember how I said the protein plus fat. See, the other 2 have to be combined properly. The protein plus fat, I want to make sure I don't have certain things with my protein plus fat. So let's talk about, this is where your whole eggs are, this is where steak is, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about Karen's example of a 3 and a 4. So a 3 might be a baked potato, and a 4 would be your steak. That does not go together. On Planet Shibboleth, if you want to eat that, you can. It's just called a holiday, okay? You would not be able to eat that on what we call a perfect day. You could eat that on a holiday, though. And I'm going to explain to you why you don't want to do that. So that's that classic plate of a steak and a baked potato. Your steak is a great protein source, It's just got some extra fats in it. These are natural fats. These are not fats that are going to harm you unless you just overeat them all the time, okay? These fats are going to be used for certain functions in our body, and the fats that are in that steak will get used up as energy, all right? But if you combine that with a category 3, and in this example, a potato, you are going to have fat storage occurring. So let's talk about that. You eat your potato. Potatoes usually aren't small. People are usually eating a big potato, you know, with it. And the potato brings more of an insulin release. And remember how earlier we called insulin the fat bus? So insulin actually comes out to regulate blood sugar. In that example I gave earlier with the lima beans, the chicken, and the green beans, the insulin came out to regulate the blood sugar from the lima beans, but there wasn't any fat in that meal because you had a lean protein, a fibrous carb, and the lima beans. There wasn't any fat in that meal. But the potato eaten with the steak, it's going to come out to regulate the blood sugar from the potato, but it's going to get super excited that there's fat out there. It's going to go like, squirrel, oh my goodness, I came out here to regulate blood sugar, but look what they've given me. They've given me some fat. Yay! Let's go pick that up. We're going to pick that up and we're going to take it to the storage facility, all right? So I want you to imagine a little yellow bus going around and picking up the kiddos and taking them to school. All right. So the purpose of a bus is to pick up people and take them to their destination. The fat bus, it goes out and it picks up those fat lipids and it takes it to the storage facility. On our bodies, most people say that's butt and gut, okay? And we don't want that to happen. This is not efficient fat burning, and it is not what we want to do. I did recently have a steak and a baked potato at my mother-in-law's house, and it was great. I enjoyed it very, very much, but I already knew I was having those days as holidays. So I can still do that. It's just not what I'm going to choose to do on a perfect day. So let me tell you, there's 3 categories that you do not want to eat with your protein plus fats. So this protein plus fat, let's think about this first. You can eat it by itself. So let's say that you wake up in the morning and you haven't been to the grocery store yet, but you've got eggs in your refrigerator and you can make yourself some scrambled eggs. That would be a perfect meal because it's just scrambled eggs and you're not putting it with anything else, and that would be totally fine. So you can do that. Optimally, you would pair this protein plus fat with your fibrous carbs. That would be the best. So like if you want that steak, maybe you choose to have it with broccoli or green beans or asparagus. You can also, this was where my surf and turf example was going to come in. Let's say you want some steak and lobster. You can do that. You still want a portion control, but you would obviously choose to have that with a side salad or broccoli, green beans, cauliflower, vegetable medley, something like that. And you could have steak and some chicken together, still portion controlled. But what you are not going to eat with your protein plus fat on a perfect day is you're not going to eat any energy carbs with it, not fruit, and not superfoods. So do not eat category 4s with 3s, 5s, or 6s. 3s, 5s, and 6s bring a little bit more of an insulin release, so you do not want to pair protein plus fat with it. All right? Okay. Melanie. Melanie says, what about approved slice of bread with a whole egg? Yeah. So my breakfast this morning was 2 fried eggs with salt and pepper on them. I fried them in 0-calorie cooking spray, and I used the Sara Lee 45-calorie delightful bread, which is a category 2. A 4 and a 2 go together, and so that worked out just fine. So Melanie, you can do that. Yes. All right, any questions about this real quick? Because this was the overview. Tomorrow night, it's a whole hour on this, all right? So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you register for it and you attend. Now let's do some recap. recap of what we just went over. And I didn't talk about MCT yet, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now, and then we're going to hit that on the next slide. Your fastest fat burning combination is a 1 and a 2, which is a lean protein and a fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil, or shellfish and fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil. If you want to eat a 3, which is an energy carb, or 5, which is fruit, you must eat it with a lean protein. And remember, that's either a 1 or a 7, and a fibrous carb, which is a 2. You do not want to eat your category 4s with energy carbs, which are your 3s, fruit, which are your 5s, or superfoods, which are your 6s. And all meat, this is really important. So if you're asleep right now, wake up. All meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. Here's why. Let's say that you go into a restaurant and you think, I'm going to have some, I really want a little bit of potato at this restaurant. And so I'm going to order chicken and green beans so that I can have a little bit of potato. But the problem is that chicken, when you cook it home, you have more control over what you cooked it in. And you, knowing that you're living this lifestyle, will cook it in the right product. But at the restaurant, they don't really care. You know, they're going to cook it in what they want to cook it in. And I can guarantee you it is not MCT oil or 0-calorie cooking spray. It's going to be olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, or some other type of cooking oil. That turns that chicken breast, which at home would be a lean protein, it turns it into a protein plus fat because they added fat to it. So at that point, you would not want to eat that with that little potato maybe that you were wanting. Potatoes really aren't that safe at a restaurant ever anyway. That would be something that you kind of want to combine properly and do at home. But so all meat at a restaurant, even if you cook it at home, would be considered a 1 at home. It's got to be considered a 4 at a restaurant. That's to keep you safe. That's to keep you safe, okay? Hold on, my phone is buzzing. Oh, okay. So this is another secret alert thing. Number 1 on here, the approved cooking oils. This is exciting news because simply if you can just switch over your cooking oils, you're going to be able to burn fat more efficiently. Most of the time before people start Shibboleth, they're using olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, things like that. Those are long chain triglycerides. They take forever to burn up. Most of us are not out there running a marathon. I know I'm not. And they get stored. They get stored as fat. They easily get stored as fat. So if you are, okay, all nutrition is situational. If we are in the current situation that we want to lose weight, then we're in that nutritional situation. So we have to do certain things, and that would be to switch over our oils. A medium chain triglyceride burns up like this, and it has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. In fact, it burns up so quickly that it's called thermogenic, meaning it has a heating up process because it burns up so quickly, and it actually will help you burn a few extra calories when eaten properly. I'm going to tell you how we eat it, but I think I see a question. Okay, so Trudy, let's do this. Okay, so Trudy is asking about a Spring Valley MCT. Let me put it to you this way. Trudy, if you really want to know, you could take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item, and you post it in the Facebook group called Shibboleth Fixed It. Kim Shibboleth, which is not me, Kim, will have a look at it and let you know. But this is what you want it to say. You want it to say in the ingredients on the back, 100% medium chain triglycerides. If it says that, you should be good to go. You also want to make sure that it doesn't say that you shouldn't cook with it, because that's what we're going to be doing with it. So check that. If it says as the ingredients 100% medium chain triglycerides, or either it says from coconut oil, just don't mess with that one. You want to find it that says medium chain triglycerides. Let me also tell you, Trudy, that we never require that you purchase anything from Shibboleth to do Shibboleth, okay? But if you really want to be safe, I would go onto our website and buy the medium chain triglyceride called Zero Drag. Here's why. We know that it's maximized for cooking, and that's why we use medium chain triglycerides. It also has 100 calories per tablespoon, where all of the other MCT oils I've looked on the market have 130 calories per tablespoon. Well, I like ours better just for that fact too. So you might want to buy that from us if you're having difficulty finding it, but as long as it says 100% medium chain triglycerides as the ingredient, and it doesn't say on there that you shouldn't cook with it, then you'd be good to go, Trudy. And it actually doesn't have to be in the food library for you to use it if it says that. Okay, so here's some important things about medium chain triglycerides. You may have heard that you should use it to put it in your coffee and make bulletproof coffee. We don't do that. Coffee is a pre-digested drink. It has nothing to slow down any type of fat absorption at all. And even though medium chain triglycerides do burn up quickly, we just don't add random fat to a pre-digested drink. So if you're making bulletproof coffee, you really need to quit. We also do not put medium chain triglycerides in any kind of shakes or smoothies, and we do not take it as a supplement. Let's see, Kim, it's a group called, you're going to want to search for Shibboleth New Member Fast Track. Search for that on Facebook and it'll be right there. Yep. And Melanie, that's a great question, Melanie. I'm going to explain that in just 1 second, okay? So, but this is how we are going to use medium chain triglyceride. We're going to use medium chain triglycerides to cook with, to make recipes with, which is also cooking. I just want to kind of separate the two. And you can make salad dressings with it, okay? But you're not taking it as a supplement, so there's no reason to think, oh, medium chain triglycerides are good for me, I need to get them in. You do not need to get them in. If you're cooking, then you can use them. If you're making recipes and it calls for oil, then you can use it. Or if you want to make some of the super yummy salad dressings with the oil, there's some recipes in the recipe library for that. You can do that. That's how we use medium chain triglycerides. The other options would be coconut oil. Coconut oil is 60% MCTs. Ghee butter, which is spelled G-H-E-E. The reason I separate that out is we have a really great meal replacement called Ghee Butter in our store, and I just want to make sure that people don't get that confused. But what ghee butter is it's butter, it's just clarified butter, and it's 40% MCTs once it's been clarified. You could also use hemp oil. And then you can use 0-calorie cooking spray. Now, Melanie asked a great question. She says, why would I choose to use medium chain triglycerides, which has calories in it, versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Here's why. Medium chain triglycerides have a muscle preserving effect, and they have a metabolism building effect. While we are in the nutritional situation of losing weight, we're going to be in a calorie deficit. In a calorie deficit, the most important thing that you can do is, well, one, in EFB, we're going to be accessing stored fat. We never want our body to need energy in a way that it's going to access our muscles, okay? We have got to protect our muscles while we're losing weight, and MCT has a muscle preserving effect. And earlier when I said it burned up quickly, it has a thermogenic effect, and it's got a little oomph behind it. It's got a metabolism building effect. So it's got some good properties to it. So if you are going to cook with it, then great, use it that way. But let me talk about this. So if you're cooking chicken breast or you're cooking shrimp, and these are just some examples, that's a category 1 or a category 7. Both of those are a lean protein. You can use medium chain triglycerides. you're cooking egg whites, you can use some medium chain triglycerides. You can even cook some fibrous carb vegetables up in some medium chain triglycerides. Now, they would not be freebies. A lot of our category 2 fibrous carb vegetables are freebies. If you've cooked them in medium chain triglyceride for a meal the night before, you wouldn't want to eat those like the next day as a freebie. They're no longer freebies if you've cooked them in oil. But you can cook those in there. But let's say that you're cooking a steak or you're cooking whole eggs. You wouldn't use the medium chain triglycerides. Those already have fat in them, so you wouldn't add fat. So at that point in time, let's just use this example. If I'm cooking egg whites, I would use a little bit of medium chain triglycerides. But if I'm doing whole eggs, I'm going to do 0-calorie cooking spray. So I have both things, Melanie, in my pantry. So it just depends on what I'm using, what I'm cooking. But there's, the benefit is that it has a muscle preserving effect and a metabolism building effect where 0-calorie cooking spray doesn't. So hope that helps, Melanie. Okay, so we're going to talk more about these tomorrow night so that y'all can just make sure that you get that all understood and everything. But y'all have heard me mention the letters EFB, efficient fat burning. This is so important to me. It is us efficiently burning fat, okay, rather than burning it the hard way. We're striving for perfect days, but planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. Just keep in mind, after a holiday, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into efficient fat burning. When we are in efficient fat burning, our body is going to burn fat, which is stored energy, rather than easily accessible sources of energy. So think about this. If we are giving our body easily accessible sources of energy, which is unapproved oils or sugary or starchy carbs, our body is going to access those first because they're easily accessible. But if we have not been given our body those easily accessible sources of energy, it is going to have to access stored energy as its energy source. It is going to be burning that off, and that's the fat we want to get rid of. That is efficient fat burning. That's amazing. Y'all get that down because it is awesome. Okay, we're going to recap what the fat bus is. The fat bus is insulin. It's a hormone. It is a growth hormone. It's focused on fat storage. After an insulin release, fat storage does occur for up to 48 hours because insulin is in there for that long. But if you've eaten a properly combined meal, those foods neutralize that insulin, okay? Insulin also increases appetite. Yeah, Glenda, was this you and I that talking about this the other night? I can't remember. Once you've gotten this started and you've eaten something sweet, then you're like, oh, now I want the salty taste. Or maybe it was somebody else, I can't remember. But, oh, now I want something sour. Oh, let me go back to get something sweet. Well, see, insulin increases that appetite, and that's where you start ending up having a hog trough day. Okay, I also want you to keep in mind that after you have a holiday and you're getting back to your perfect days, if you're a little hungry on that first perfect day after a holiday, you just tell yourself that's that insulin. I got to let that dissipate. It'll go away and I'll get back to normal. Because once you get into EFB and you are having those EFB days all strung together, you're not going to be hungry. You're going to get used to it. But then after a holiday, that first perfect day back, you might be a little hungry, okay? But you just gotta know that that's the way it is, and you just get over it. Okay, let's look at this next slide. So your question is, what am I going to eat this week? I really want you to make yourself a list of about 10 lean proteins that you like and 10 fibrous carbs that you like. Pick one from one list and one from the other list and just eat it. It is that simple. It is that simple, okay? And then throw in some meal replacements for simplicity. In the Shibboleth new member fast track group on Facebook, pinned up in the top at the announcements section, if you'll look through all of those, there's some meal plans in there. But one of them is what I ate for my first 20 days. I want you to know it is not a magical meal plan. I did eat about 30 Mighty Muffins in my first 20 days. And that might sound a little out there, but the reason I did that, I liked the way they tasted. They kept me full. I knew I was an EFB, and I was just doing whatever I had to do to get the process started to continue to learn the program. I don't eat nearly as many Mighty Muffins now, but that's what it took in the beginning to keep me safe. So do what you got to do to keep yourself safe. But those meal replacements make life easy. So find about 7 to 10 of those that you like and think through that. Keep it real simple in the beginning, okay? But tomorrow, I know that you can get started. I know you can get started with all of this. For sure, you can do your water. For sure, you can journal. You can work hard on combining the right foods together. You can portion control tomorrow, and you can stop grazing and start spacing that food out. You can do that tomorrow. All right. So I want you to do that tomorrow. You know why? Because I truly believe that if you start tomorrow, and I had this happen, there was a lady that I talked to who said that she was just doing challenges and she was struggling and doing these challenges. I said, can you please just do regular Shibboleth for me? And she said, what's regular Shibboleth? I said, what I taught you in the very first class that we ever had. She goes, okay. So she did that and she lost 7 pounds. And that's what I'm telling you. You can easily lose 7 pounds this week if you go ahead and get started. All right, let's look at one last slide. I want you to take advantage of all of our awesome resources. We are a ministry and we do not charge much to be in Shibboleth, but you are going to just go crazy over all the value that we provide. So we've got our support groups on Facebook. There is a announcement at the top of the new member fast track group that links all of the Facebook groups that you can be a part of. So go ahead and join those. You want to familiarize yourself with our awesome website. You can do that on your own, but if you're also watching those posts that come out each morning in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, then that's my way of helping you shorten your learning curve on how to use the website. And then I want you to set up a getting started mentor appointment. And Kim, Missy, and Joni do those getting started mentor appointments. But here's the way I want you to do it. When you hop off of here, I want you to go ahead and go to mentor.genbook.com. And I want you to schedule your appointment. But I want you to schedule your appointment for next week. Here's why. I want you to focus this week on participating in the fast track group. Because if you have a getting started appointment this week, they're going to have to spend their time teaching you the program. If you have an appointment with them next week, y'all can hone in on meal plans, meal replacements, and you could ask them any questions that maybe you didn't understand from this week. Okay, so I think that it's going to be a more intelligent and more beneficial conversation if you schedule that appointment for next week after you've participated in the fast track. So that's what I'd like for you to do. All right, Glenda, okay, I was wondering if that was you and me. Trudy, Mighty Muffins. Mighty Muffins are a meal replacement. They are made by a company called Flapjacked. There's lots of different flavors. We carry a huge variety of them in the store, either online or in our in-person store. But I've also seen them at Kroger and Walmart and other places. But it's just a muffin. It's in a little container. The Kodiak muffins, by the way, aren't approved. But the Flapjacked muffins, Mighty Muffins are. It's just a little protein powder in there. You pour 1/4 cup of water in there, mix it up, and put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds, and you've got a muffin. If you like it a little bit gooier, cook it less. If you want it a little bit drier, you cook it more. I've also seen people put 1/3 cup of water in there and pour it into 3 pancakes on their griddle or put it into their little waffle maker, all kinds of stuff. So Mighty Muffins are awesome. Yes, definitely add that to your order, Trudy. They're wonderful. By the way, Trudy, my favorites are, if you like chocolate, get double chocolate. They're good. And the blueberry. I think those are the best in my book. Last slide. Welcome. Welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are so glad. We are so glad that you have found us. It is absolutely the most awesome lifestyle that you can live. It's going to be such a blessing to you. And I'm kind of to the point with it. What I want you to understand is you now have the rules. You now kind of have the rules to eating. And I want you to see it as these are tasks that I go and accomplish every day. I'm going to get my water in. I'm going to journal. I'm going to eat in a way that controls insulin. I'm going to portion control. I'm going to have space my food out and not graze. These are just things you're going to think through each day, and you're just going to be like, yep, done it. Yep, did that. Yep, did that. To me, it's very task oriented. So you just do it. You just do it. And the muscle that I want to become the strongest muscle that you have in your body, which is really here and here, well, here, is your self-discipline muscle. Your self-discipline muscle. Y'all use it. Use it. It's going to be such a blessing. I know before Shibboleth, I really wasn't using it all that much, but now I do quite a bit, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to go, yep, not doing that today. You forget it. I'm not doing that. Or you go to a luncheon with people and you look at the food, and now you're going to go, fat bus, fat bus, fat bus. Oh, I can have that. And you're not going to worry about what the other people sitting around you are eating. You're not going to worry about missing out on anything. Been there, done that. We've got to go do something differently, all right? So it's really something that, let's just think about it like that. It's just something to just, the task oriented. If you will also make sure that you have liked the Shibboleth public page on Facebook. Every morning, Monday through Friday, I go live there. I go live there at 1, we focus our day. What type of day are we having? I do little nutritional nuggets and just little strategies, like holiday strategies, things like that. I also do a little daily devotion as well. So I'd love for you to join that. I would love for you to join that. So y'all asked some great questions tonight. I don't think I missed any of them, which is great. Tomorrow night, we have a webinar on food combining, just simple food combining. And then also tomorrow night, we're going to start to hear more of the foods that are in each category, because that's really, really important for you to figure out is which foods are in which category, and especially the foods that you like that are in those categories, because you don't have to eat anything you don't like on Planet Shibboleth. You just got to figure out enough in each category that you do like. You eat it. You eat it. And then Tuesday night, we will do a class on journaling. Make sure we can overcome that objection. Okay, Tracy? All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. Thank you, Amy. I see Amy Kerner on there. Hey, Amy, I'm looking forward to the beach just in a few weeks. I even got a countdown. I've got a countdown on my phone that tells me how many more days till we get to Destin. I'm looking forward to it. Awesome. You're welcome, Tracy. Bye, everybody. See you later. Bye, Andrea. Bye, Kathy.